Picture this. You've just started your campaign on Twitter, you check all the numbers on your analytics dashboard, the metrics are flying, you have so much engagement, you've got new followers coming in every day, but then you go to your product dashboard and you have no net new users, no product usage, no traction. So why are we wasting time pushing all of our eggs into one marketing channel if it's yielding no results? Well, this is one of the questions that we're trying to answer in today's video as we go through and figure out whether crypto Twitter is a positive or negative EV play for crypto startups. Hey, Ramsey here from Jello, and in this video, as I've just mentioned, we're going to be breaking down whether crypto Twitter is worth it or not for crypto startups. And if you're wondering why I'd know anything about this, well, I run a marketing and go-to-market studio for crypto startups, helping them go from 0 to 1. We've helped products like Solana, ICP, Polkadot, Supra, and many others in building their go-to-market strategies and building their distribution for their products. For us to really understand whether crypto Twitter is worth it as a channel, we have to understand why people are using it in the first place and what's good about the channel. So Twitter, or X, has cemented itself as a core channel for crypto products. It's not just a social app for crypto, it's really the birthplace of a lot of its culture and a lot of the stuff that we talk about on a day-to-day basis. From DeFi summer to the NFT boom of 2020 and 2021, to the meme coin mania and AI frenzy of the end of 2024, it all unfolded live on the timeline for everyone to see. So the question becomes, how did crypto become so dominant on Twitter? And in my opinion, there's 4 key things here. These 4 things are the same reasons why we still use Twitter to this day. And the first is that there's a clear cultural fit. Crypto runs 24/7. Price swings, narrative shifts, opportunities appearing and disappearing in the matter of hours. Twitter's real-time feed matched that speed perfectly. So it wasn't just a platform, it was a live wire for everything going on in the market. Secondly, it was also an open network. So you can follow anyone, whales, founders, meme lords, without any permission. That meant a random anon with a sharp insight or a viral meme could build influence overnight. And culturally, it was a perfect fit because crypto's irreverence, the pseudonyms, the meme-driven storytelling thrived here. Memes weren't just a joke, they were narrative weapons, and they would blast on Twitter for all to see. Now, when it comes down to the engagement side of Twitter, the way that content was structured in threads and open tweets, with people having discussions within the comments, really breeded a lot of alpha in the early days of Twitter, when things were really tight-knit and conversations were really focused on deep alpha that you couldn't get anywhere else. The second reason as to why Twitter kind of became so dominant for crypto was there was huge message proliferation potential. And honestly, this is just another word for virality. I thought it just sounded cool. But basically, if you're a startup, you can test messaging very easily on Twitter and get some sort of validation if it sticks. You see people go viral over threads, over memes, over one-liners. And this makes it very nice for a startup who might have limited budget because you'll be able to test your messaging and see if it sticks in a pretty cheap way. No running ads, none of that. Just purely focus on good content and engagement. And spurring on from that, you have cross-pollination. Now, there are other big industries or sectors that are on Twitter as well, right? Tech, finance, philosophy, journalists. All these people will now have cross-pollination with the crypto world, and we're able to kind of see what's going on and get a piece of the action. And this also allows people to engage potential users from other parts of the world outside of crypto, but also kind of bring people and help people understand what crypto really is through Twitter. And that's why crypto has such a big connection to Twitter. It's because it's allowed us to have a voice in the online realm. And finally, one of my favorite reasons as to why crypto Twitter is a really handy tool and why it probably got so big is the opportunity for asymmetric networking. And what this really means is that we have a collapse of traditional networking hierarchies. In most industries, connecting with influential figures requires warm introductions, gated events, months of slow relationship building. But on X, a well-timed reply, a sharp meme, or a single viral thread can get you in front of the same people you'd normally need an invite-only conference to meet. And we've seen this many times. There are people who have managed to get jobs just from being active on Twitter. And this just goes to show the power of perseverance and content in the right sphere can really get you far. And Twitter is a big facilitator of this in crypto. However, as crypto has grown, it's become more crowded, it's become noisy, and the incentive structures for projects have become skewed, leading to a lot of bots taking over the timeline. So this begs the question now, is crypto negative EV right now? Well, let's look at the current landscape. Twitter is loud, it's noisy, And loud does not equal lasting, it does not equal valuable, and it does not equal real traction. And all of this has been perpetrated by a set of incentives that have come about in the last few years, starting with traditional airdrops and now moving into the InfoFi meta. Now, there are three kind of pillars of this metric farming landscape that we're sitting in at the moment, and they are exchanges, launchpads, and what we're calling InfoFi. Not calling out any companies in particular, but that genre of content in particular is what we're talking about. Exchanges and launchpads are putting requirements for follow accounts and engagement for Twitter profiles to get them listed on their platforms. And this is leading to founders obviously wanting to bot their accounts and just make sure that they check off those metrics and those KPIs in order to just get their listing. And this comes at the expense of the brand and the content therein, and obviously the perception of that brand as well. Thirdly, we're looking at InfoFi. So with the rise of what we're calling permissionless KOL networks, people can just talk about companies on Twitter and get paid. And this has led to a proliferation of AI content, low quality content that is not even AI generated, kind of crowding our feeds. And yes, you can deal with it by blocking and muting, but that shouldn't be the case. And this has led to a lot of noise on Twitter, which obviously is not good for founders building on the platform. And it may prove as a lot of red herrings for companies who are trying to gauge if they have real traction or not. At the moment, there's a lot of engagement inflation without real retention or without real backing behind it. And if you look at all the InfoFi era token campaigns that have looked great on paper, the TGEs dump without a second thought. There's no belief, there's no product usage, and there's no demand for these products outside of wanting to talk about them. So the question becomes, do we just leave Twitter alone? Not really. Twitter has its perks, right? It allows you to test narrative resonance very quickly. You can find early believers, and it allows you to keep a pulse on the culture and the trends of what's happening in the market. But it does come at a cost. You can't really measure product market fit based off your Twitter profile. It's very hard to acquire real users just through Twitter, and you don't really build much long-term defensibility on the platform either. So as a founder, where do you want to shift your focus? Well, there's 4 things that we can touch on here. First of all, it's building out your own channels. Your email, your Telegram chats, your Discord, maybe your in-app communications and your in-app experiences. These are things that we can control a little bit more. We're not at the mercy of any algorithms. There's people in a chat that we can talk to, and the only thing that we have to worry about is the platform going down. It's really, really important that as a founder, we have these own channels so we can build more defensibility for our products and our brand. The second thing is narrative clarity. It's really important that builders and founders hone their narrative and their storytelling across all their channels. One really honed in story for a specific target audience can do you a lot better than a wider, broader story for everyone. Remember, some of this narrative and positioning work is about sacrifice. If you can make people feel that this is a solution that's really for them, they're more likely to convert into a user. The third thing is looking at other channels. TikTok, Instagram, other sort of creator-based ecosystems where you can find creators that actually have engaged audiences. These things are really, really important. There's a whole world of crypto users outside of Twitter that all you need to do is go and reach out to them and they will resonate. Obviously, this depends on the type of product you're building. You should not be going to the tactical level of thinking before you think about the fundamental context of your brand. For example, if you're building DAO tooling, you don't want to be on TikTok. It's probably not relevant for you. But if you're building a consumer app, it probably is a pretty good route for you to have some sort of presence on TikTok. And finally, it's looking at monitoring on-chain behaviors. Again, at the end of the day, all we're trying to do here is drive revenue and scale our product. If we are not assessing how good our marketing is on the on-chain layer, everything that we do on Twitter doesn't really matter anyway. So focus on what really matters, find your North Star metrics, and re-hone your marketing to focus on driving those results. In this new era of post-CT marketing, where we're evolving outside of the echo chamber and heading to new frontiers, it's really important to focus on where your audience is, focusing on messaging depth and not surface area reach, testing new platforms and mediums, and new distribution channels that can be tapped into. Twitter is not inherently bad, nor is it going anywhere at all. The Twitter landscape has just changed, and shouting the loudest is not going to help you win more users, which is ultimately what we're trying to do. It won't help you drive revenue, and it won't help you find product market fit. And at the end of the day, you don't even need millions of views. You just need 100 solid, valuable customers. So if your team's looking to move past vanity metrics and break out of the echo chamber and drive growth that actually compounds, reach out to us at Jello with the information in the description. And as ever, if you enjoyed this video, feel free to give it a like, comment, and subscribe, and share it with one of your friends, and we'll see you in the next video.